When we think about the Batman trilogy, some iconic scenes and lines immediately come to mind.
Either you die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
It's not who I am on the inside, but what I do that defines me.
And it's not that these scenes are bad or that their meanings are weak. On the contrary, there's another scene I've never seen anyone notice. But for me, it's easily one of the trilogy's strongest and most genuine moments. And I say this because it reveals a controversial and polemic truth about the system and the society we live in. A reality that very few people are able to see. This scene happens in the last movie of the trilogy, The Dark Knight Rises. And for those who followed the whole saga, you know that this movie already starts with a different vibe from what we saw in the previous two films. The city seems safer and under control. Organized crime has been contained. Many criminals are in jail, including several crime bosses behind bars. But the truth is that all this order was built on something fragile. It was built on a lie. And I say lie because if we go back to the second movie, we'll remember the figure of the city's district attorney, Harvey Dent. He was called Gotham's White Knight, the symbol of law, order, and justice in the middle of a completely corrupted city. In that environment, he was the hope everyone needed, a guy who had the courage to face crime head-on without any mask. That was inspiring. It's no surprise he soon became popular, with people seeing him as their salvation.
I believe in Harvey Dent. I believe that with him, Gotham can feel a little safer, a little more optimistic.
Then another figure appears, the Joker, who uniquely understood the power of symbols.
Where is Harvey Dent?
He quickly realizes what Harvey represented and knew very well that destroying his image was one of his trump cards to bring chaos to that city, because that way the people's hope would be corrupted, and that's exactly what he does.
I took Gotham's White Knight and I put him in his place. It wasn't hard. Madness, as you know, is like gravity. All it takes is a little push.
At the end of the second movie, Joker kills Rachel, Harvey's love, in one of his games. And it's right after that we see him completely succumb to Joker's chaos, going totally insane. Gotham's White Knight becomes the famous Two-Face. He abandons all those symbols and the morals he once represented. He no longer believes in anything. The world was cruel to him. So now he wants to return that cruelty. And he starts punishing everyone he somehow judges responsible for what happened to him.
The only morality in a cruel world is chance.
He completely loses his principles and values. He kidnaps the family of Commissioner Gordon so that he will be punished just like he was. Losing loved ones to fate and this world's cruelty.
You won't hurt my family.
Not just the person you love the most.
But when Harvey is about to cruelly murder Gordon's son, Batman shows up to save the day. Harvey dies at that moment. Gordon and Batman face a dilemma: reveal the truth about Harvey and risk plunging Gotham back into despair, or hide everything and turn Harvey Dent's image into the eternal symbol of justice for that city?
Any chance he gave us to fix the city dies with Harvey's reputation. We bet everything on him. People will lose hope.
No, they won't. They'll never know what he did.
They choose the lie. Batman takes the blame for the crimes and takes on the role of the villain in the story.
I killed those people.
That's what I am.
No, you can't. You're not.
I am what Gotham needs.
They believe that the fight for a better Gotham can't die with Harvey. And more than hiding his last actions after his death, the Dent Act is still created, a law in honor of Harvey, which gives reinforced powers to the authorities. This enables mass arrests of criminals and breaks up organized crime.
A hero, not the hero we deserve, but the one we need. Nothing less than a shining knight.
Gotham starts to live in peace, but it's an artificial peace because deep down it was built on a lie. As everyone knows, lies don't last.
Harvey Dent's relentless fight against organized crime made Gotham safer than it was 8 years ago when he died.
And the lie can't survive the third movie. We see Commissioner Gordon uncomfortable having to carry the weight of this secret for all these years. And tired of living this hypocrisy, he writes a speech to reveal the whole truth about Harvey Dent to the people. When the time comes, he hesitates, knowing the people aren't ready for the truth. That revealing that would destroy the fragile order that held Gotham together, and he decides to keep that speech.
But it might not be the time.
And he was right to be afraid. Later in the movie, the new villain Bane captures Gordon and discovers this speech. Unlike Gordon, he isn't committed to order. Instead, he seeks chaos. So, in front of the people in the media, he exposes the whole truth.
I'm gonna tell you the truth about Harvey Dent. In the words of Gotham's police commissioner, James Gordon,
Gordon's fear is coming true. The people find out that their trust was betrayed, that thousands of criminals were imprisoned based on a lie, and Gotham plunges into collapse once again.
They locked men up in Blackgate 8 years ago. No parole under the Harvey law, based on a lie.
And it's in this chaotic scenario that comes the scene I want to highlight. Gordon is watching on television as chaos takes over Gotham. Next to him is John Blake, an idealistic young officer, perhaps one of the last, who still believed in what the police should represent: truth, justice, duty to serve. Blake saw Gordon as an exception in that environment, as someone who still remained clean in the midst of a police force almost entirely tainted by corruption. But right there at that moment, he discovers that even Gordon, the ultimate symbol of integrity within the institution, had also taken part in the deception. And that breaks something inside him. He gets outraged, and Gordon tries to justify himself.
There comes a time, a critical point, when the structure fails, when the rules are no longer a weapon. They become chains that let evil continue. Someday you might face that moment of crisis. At such a moment, I hope you have a friend like I did, who will get their hands dirty so yours can stay clean. For Gordon, the lie was a necessary evil to keep the city from falling apart.
But Blake doesn't buy that excuse.
Your hands look pretty dirty to me, Commissioner. You betrayed everything you stood for.
For Blake, the ends never justify the means. He believes in honesty and that doing the right thing all the time is the only way out. That's his ideology.
You should believe in something more real.
We see him staying true to this throughout the movie. As one of the last police officers, he tries to save Gotham, even alone. Lacking resources and facing bureaucracy and police inertia.
Take it easy, officer. The situation is unprecedented.
But as he keeps fighting, he realizes the institution meant to protect the city is now part of the problem. The rules, the badges, the protocols, everything that should guarantee justice has become a prison that prevents justice from happening.
You idiots, you're bastards. You're going to kill us. You just follow orders.
While Blake wants to act, wants to save the people, the police are paralyzed, stuck, trapped by protocols that make no sense in that crisis scenario.
The situation has changed and your orders are outdated.
I'm a police officer like you, and I'm going to cross. Eventually, his frustration erupts. He sees Batman save the city alone, and he realizes that if it depended on the police, the bureaucracy, and all the rules they defend, the city would never have been saved. That's why, right after the victory, Blake throws away his badge. He gives up on the police. He knows that fighting within that structure doesn't serve the good, and therefore, staying within it meant being complicit with something already corrupted. Gordon, after hearing about the rookie's resignation, urges him to stay.
Can I try to convince you not to leave the police?
But Blake seems very convinced of his decision.
You know what you said about structures becoming chains. You were right, and I can't accept injustice.
After diving into the layers of the police, Blake realizes that what Gordon said back then was true. The system's structures are so established that nothing more can be done. It's reached a point where you can't reform the system from the inside anymore, because its rules are already so established and rigid that they only serve to protect and strengthen the system itself. That's why his only option is to walk away. And what I find interesting is that this scene tells us something that goes far beyond Gotham's police. It challenges us to reconsider all the institutions around us. And don't get me wrong, if we go back to the beginning of societies, we'll see how institutions were born for a simple and necessary reason: to create order, establish rules, protect, educate, and improve health. They emerge as tools for men to join abilities and improve community life. But as time goes by, what we see happening is that as they grow and gain strength, these structures start to change in nature. Gradually, they stop serving people and start serving themselves. In other words, the machine that was once created to organize and improve people's living conditions starts to exist just to keep the machine itself running. The original purpose gets pushed to the background, and preserving the structure becomes its main goal. We see this happen many times. And with many institutions, like, for example, churches that become arms of power instead of voices of spirituality, industries originally meant to serve people often end up prioritizing profit over everything else. Governments meant to organize life become exploitation machines. Schools designed to teach turn into conformity factories. Anyway, there are many examples. But the worst part is that as this process matures, it ends up contaminating absolutely everything. Not only the big structures, but even the invisible ones start to function as if they were an institution. Our beliefs, our thoughts, our very identity also become institutionalized. That's when we abandon our inner strength. What we truly believe and feel ends up being completely tamed. All of this happens because we're afraid to go against what's already established. I highly recommend the movie Spotlight for anyone who hasn't seen it, as it illustrates this idea well. It's a true story about an investigation that took place in churches in the United States and their involvement in protecting abusive priests. Throughout the movie, we see the problem extends beyond the priests, with the church acting as a structure to protect them. The most shocking part is watching an institution meant to guide people spiritually being used to hide the worst abuse within it. And in this process, even good people ended up being complicit. Many knew, but stayed silent. Some acted out of fear, some out of shame, and others feared opposing the church as sacrilege. Many believers who did not agree with that absurdity turned a blind eye because confronting that institution meant rejection, isolation, and losing the symbolic protection it represented in their lives. The perversity is when an institution becomes so powerful and sacred that it's no longer questioned. While I use the church as an example, this extends much further. It's a portrait of how human systems, over time, became the owners of the virtues they once claimed to protect. Faith, justice, education, and freedom. Everything meant to serve man eventually turns against him. And the most ironic thing is that we keep believing these institutions are above us, as if they were something separate from man, pure, incorruptible, sacred, but they're not. They were made, changed, and kept up by people like us. And it's precisely when we forget that they gain power over us. Because the moment we believe we can't question them, we're already serving their own perpetuation. The same happens with John Blake. When he joins the police, he believes he's serving justice. For him, the institution represents everything he believes in: order, truth, protection. He devotes himself completely, arriving full of hope. As time passes, he sees the absurdity more clearly, that the structure that symbolized good in practice actually blocks good from happening. The system he swore to defend has become part of the problem. And the most common thing when we reach this point is to choose one of these two options. Either simply accept it, settle for it, and keep going, or rebel. Let yourself be carried away by hatred. And in both cases, you become a victim of the system. Blake did things differently. He decided to keep fighting. But from the outside, the decision to leave the police might look like giving up. It might look like running away, but it's not. He consciously realizes he can never change complex systems that are so old and deeply entrenched in the world. So Blake's departure is nothing more than a way for him to create and live within his own system. He, in no way, abandons what he believes in. He abandons the mechanism that hijacked what he believes in. And that makes all the difference. In the final scene of the movie, they show him starting his journey as Robin.
I like that name, Robin.
Now he's going to fight within his own rules, and above all, hiding his true identity.
You work alone. You must wear the mask.
I'm not afraid to face those guys.
Masks protect your loved ones, not just you.
The mask is about recognizing the fragility of the common man. Without a mask, you're vulnerable. Easy prey. In history, Harvey Dent fought openly and failed. Blake realized he couldn't repeat that mistake. He realized that fighting openly in a corrupt system would only lead to defeat. And of course, when we look at this in real life, many might think that the solution is to hide, to live masked, to pretend to be something you're not, but that's not it. The mask here isn't a disguise, it's an awareness. It's about being part of the game without ever giving your soul to it. It's smiling when you need to smile, but without ever betraying what you really feel.
I found out too late that I had to hide my anger and practice smiles in the mirror. It's like putting on a mask.
To understand the world has rules, norms, and rituals, and that you can move within all of this without giving away what is most true inside you. In other words, you can work at a company without belonging to the company's cult. You can have faith without becoming a servant of the institution or the authority that represents it. You can follow the laws without thinking that everything legal is moral. You can smile at the world without selling your soul to it. It's not letting the weight of institutions convince you that they are bigger than you. It's living true to your own ideals in a world that does everything to pay them off. Discover and be amazed by my series, The Key of the Three Dimensions. I help you reach a deeper understanding of the world and yourself. And for those who buy the key, I'm also making my other series about power available for free. In it, I talk a lot about control, persuasion, manipulation, seduction, and much more.